The High Court sitting in Palm Ridge has found 22-year-old Sifiso Mkhwanazi guilty of 6 counts of rape, 6 counts of murder, defeating the ends of justice and illegal possession of firearm and unlicensed ammunition. Well, I'm joined right now by the NPA's Phindi Mjolondwane to elaborate a bit further and react to this particular judgment. Thank you so much, Phindi, for your time. Can you just tell us what is your reaction? We understand that from the onset you guys felt that you had a strong case, and as it panned out, the court actually found the 22-year-old guilty of most of the charges, except for that one, the first count of rape.
Indeed, this verdict of guilt in all charges of murder and all charges of rape, as well as defeating the ends of justice and lawful possession of firearm and ammunition, it's one that signals the seriousness of the criminal justice system in holding those accused of violent crimes against women accountable for their actions, as well as our seriousness in creating a society where women can freely live from fear and harm.
And we understand that there was a shortfall in terms of the first count of rape, of which you could not find a witness to attest to their terms due to lack of sufficient evidence. It was actually thrown out.
Indeed, we struggled to trace that witness as the state, hence the testimony of that witness could not be presented in court. However, we are grateful for the testimonies of the investigating officer, who was able to paint a clear picture and also present the DNA analysis linking the accused beyond any reasonable doubt. We are also grateful to the witnesses that came forward. Other than the investigating officer, they also added value to our case. Today we are able to celebrate a conviction. It is because of their valuable testimonies that were presented before court.
Yes. And what are some of the learning curves that you're going to take out of this particular trial? I remember to a certain extent there were appearances where the accused had not actually been taken through an identity parade, and some people were saying that there's a possibility this case might be bungled. So what are some of the learning lessons that you're going to take out of this?
Well, with each and every case that comes before court, there are valuable lessons to draw from. So in this instance, the valuable lesson is that if we continue to work in an integrated manner as the law enforcement and the entire criminal justice system, we will be in a position to continue celebrating the strides that we are achieving in terms of combating gender-based violence.
Yes. And just as a parting shot, some of the sex workers have raised concern that the law enforcement targets them for trading in sex, but the men that actually solicit these services are actually not charged. How come were there no charges of soliciting sex workers leveled against the accused?
Well, remember firstly that even for us to prove the rape counts, it was a mammoth task, because remember that these types of crime happen behind closed doors in private spaces where no one can be able to attest, especially now that the women that the accused raped were all deceased. So no one could bring such evidence before court. So as a state, we had to rely on circumstantial evidence to prove these charges beyond any reasonable doubt. So we continue to strive as the prosecution together with law enforcement to ensure that all accused persons, especially those accused of perpetrating violent crimes, are held accountable for their actions. But we are also in the hands of the court. It depends from case to case. Results will vary depending on what the court finds. But ours is to strive to ensure that these perpetrators are held accountable for their actions and leave it up to the court to decide on their guilt or innocence.
Thank you very much. Well, as we heard, that's Ms. Phindi Mjolondwane, who's the NPA spokesperson, actually saying that to a certain extent they had to rely on circumstantial evidence. Hence, the charge of soliciting sex work was actually not leveled against the accused. We understand that the accused has now been referred to a Sterkfontein mental institution, where he's going to be under a psychiatric evaluation to ensure that he's not a danger to those he will be sharing residence with once he's incarcerated. The matter has been postponed to later on this month, where the pre-sentencing report is expected to be held here before the court.